Hello and welcome. My name is Kyle FtW and welcome back to the Call of Duty Vanguard video. Today we are back with another map guide video. Today we're taking a look at the map Castle here within Call of Duty Vanguard, of course, which is a remake from World at War. And the reason I say remake is because there's a few different things compared to the original World at War version, and obviously aesthetically it's kind of relatively the same, but as far as it plays, it's a little bit different. So anyways, here's a look at the minimap. As you guys can see, here's the classic original layout of the map Castle, and this is one of my favorite maps in Vanguard. It is really, really good. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play it that much, which is why it's one of my final videos here on the channel as far as map guides go, but it didn't really come up in rotation very frequently early on in the game's life cycle, but I obviously now have my 10 plays, and we're going to go ahead and talk about this map here today. And I love this map, as I said. It's really, really fun, really, really good. I have some of my best gameplays on this map, so let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off here with obviously the first thing that we do in every single map guide video, unfortunately not since the beginning, but since the past few map guide videos, I'll show you guys where all of the popular areas are. And then I'll show you guys as many spawns that I know of. Again, the spawns are subject to change, not by the developers, of course, but also, you know, I may not count some spawns that, you know, other people will know, because again, playing the map 10 times, you know, while you see quite a few of the spawns, obviously some of the spawns I might have missed some, because again, there's a lot of random spawns in this game, and that's just the way that it is. So anyways, here is a look at all of the popular areas on the map. A lot of them revolve around the buildings, as well as in some other specific areas, but for the most part, the bottom of the mini-map, where you guys can see all the red circles right now, is where most of the action goes down. And now here's a look at all of the spawn points that I can think of off the top of my head that are the most common that I've experienced. There's obviously a few that I haven't mentioned or that may not be on there, but again, there we go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this map kind of video. As I said, I really like this map. It's not really a standard 3-lane map like most famous maps in Call of Duty history, like Raid or Standoff or Slums. It's actually sort of it's just sort of it's hard to explain what's not a 3-lane map. It's sort of just a random map, I guess, is the best way for me to describe it. Nonetheless, though, it's still a really, really good map. So let's go ahead and get into this map guide. So we're going to go ahead and cover this back area first, and then we'll go ahead and cover the middle, and then we'll cover over there as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. So starting off here, this building has a bunch of destructible environments in it. All of these little paper areas are all destructible, and they basically just give you lines of sight over towards this area. The A flag is right there, but I can also get some lines of sight to enemies that are up there if I want to. And again, coming over this way, these doors actually open, which is kind of cool. They're sliding doors, which is obviously common with Japanese culture, but kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's not anything special, obviously, but it's kind of a cool thing that there's some sliding doors here on these maps. That's the first time that's been done. Really random, I know, but still is pretty cool. So if I come out here, I can get a line of sight to enemies that are up there, as well as I can get a line of sight to enemies, or if I keep going here, I can get a line of sight to enemies that are camping in that building, although it is pretty difficult to see that. There is a destructible environment there, which is why it is a little bit hard to see, but I'll show you guys that here in a second. Again, I will cover right here in this area here in a second, but first, we're going to go ahead and head back here to the back of the map. So if I come up here, number one, this gives me a couple of really, really good long shot spots for camo challenges and stuff like that, but also gives me a pretty good overview of the map. So from here, I can see enemies that are coming down that staircase there, going over to the right or my left, going down here towards the bridge. And then I can also see enemies that are coming through that little building right there, and then coming through back here as well, and even right there. So pretty good spot right here. Gives you a really, really nice overview of where enemies are coming from. And also, by the way, of note, look how beautiful this map is. It is just aesthetically one of the most beautiful maps in the game. I mean, hands down. I mean, it's obviously an autumn-themed version of Castle. Again, I've played the World at War version maybe 2 or 3 times. We see World War II planes flying over. We see the mountains in the background, and overall it's just a really, really beautiful map. I know that has absolutely nothing to do with the map guide, but still, beautiful map. Really, really like this map overall. Now up here, this is a really, really cool spot as well. This basically just gives you a giant overview, even more of the map. Again, it gives you the same lines of sights that this gives you, except over here though, I can get an easier line of sight to enemies that are over in that building there, as well as in that window over there. and even get a little bit of an interesting angle on enemies coming underneath the bridge right there. And it's overall a pretty dang good spot being up here. Again, really, really good for long shot spots. I'm assuming that, because again, I haven't really done any of the challenges yet, but I'm assuming that is going to be, if there's an enemy right there or even right there, that's going to be a long shot. Enemies up there obviously are going to be a long shot. Enemies that are over there are going to be a long shot. Enemies over there are going to be a long shot. And then, you know, even enemies that might be down there are probably going to be a long shot as well. So pretty awesome. Pretty good spot up here. Again, but keep in mind that when I'm up here, people are probably going to be camping up here. So again, there we go. Now coming over here, again, you can go down the stairs here. This is basically where we just went up. And again, same thing right here. Again, more destructible environments. Gives you a little bit of an easier view over towards A. But again, those really aren't destroyed much. Again, by the little red circles you guys saw earlier in the video, that basically shows where all the enemies are. And they're pretty, you know, they're pretty centralized where the enemies are. And again, up here, same thing. Gives you line of sight to there and gives you line of sight to there as well. Now coming up here, this takes you, again, the sliding awesome doors that I actually really do like legitimately. This takes you over here to this area of the map. And then again, this stuff is all destructible here as well. So keep that in mind. And again, there is a spawn point right there, which if you come from the middle over there and then come through here, you can actually get a kind of good spawn trap on enemies that are right here, believe it or not, which is pretty dang awesome. And again, from right here, this gives me an overview to enemies that are over there, enemies that are up there in the building, and then enemies that are coming through there. And again, same thing here. Can get line of sight to enemies that are spawning right here. So now coming back over to here, we can go ahead and talk about some of the things that I don't believe were on the original castle. Again, but again, back over here though, this gives you line of sight to enemies that are over there, which is where the B objective is, as well as it gives you another clear sight to up there, and everything of that nature. You can also go up here, which I don't think was in the original castle. This really serves no purpose. The only purpose this serves is I can get a line of sight to enemies up there, and that's pretty much it. You can't really, I mean, I can get a little bit of a line of sight to there, which is actually kind of cool, because I think B is right there. So if I see an enemy running through there, from this point right here, I can take them out, which is awesome. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that isn't on the original castle. Now, as far as I know, I might, you know, go on to World at War and actually do a custom game on castle just to see what's different. But if you guys would like to see a video talking about what's different, you guys can let me know. But I did do a map comparison video last year with Black Ops Cold War. I compared Express from Black Ops 2 to Express from Black Ops Cold War, and it got one view, and that was me. So probably won't do that, but again, I might just walk through it just to see what's new and what's different. But running through here, I don't believe this was in the original castle. Again, this really serves no purpose. This is a spawn point, but instead of spawning inside the tunnels, I think you can spawn inside the tunnels, but I think you usually spawn like right here. So I don't believe this was in the original. Not that this really serves a purpose, but you can just use this to call in a streak or something. But again, this was in the original castle. This little route right here, this bamboo garden area, I don't believe was in the original castle either. If any of you guys who are watching this video played World at War, you could elaborate on that and tell me if this was there. But I don't think this was, to be completely honest. But this is actually a really, really good spot. Number one, it can give me a line of sight to enemies that are jumping off of that building to right here, because that does happen quite often. And this is also just a sort of cover area from over there where I just was, and kind of allows you to get into the main part of the map, which is over here. Again, right here, line of sights to there, as well as there, and then up there as well, which is pretty dang awesome. So let's go ahead and get into the main building, where pretty much I would say 95% of the action happens on this map. I mean, enemies do tend to spend some time over in the areas down there, but specifically the modes I play with domination, a lot of the times enemies will be over here pretty much 99% of the time. Also kill confirmed as well. Just for reference point, I'm talking about the knowledge that I have on these maps from pretty much exclusively playing kill confirmed and domination. I have recently started playing a little bit more patrol as well as a little bit more TDM, but all the knowledge that I have on all of these map guide videos is from sheerly playing domination and kill confirmed, which is why I always talk about where the objectives are on the map, B, A, and C, of course. So now that I covered, now we'll get over to this area, which I wanted to talk about because I didn't talk about it in the earlier video. But right here, this is actually a spot I use all the time. So a lot of the times I will spawn over there, run through here, And then I will actually use this little crate here as a spawn trap point, because enemies will spawn over here and run through here. And if I'm right here, I've actually gotten a very, very successful streak right here, because enemies don't really know you're there. You're kind of hidden by this crate, and it's really, really good because, again, I showed you guys the spawn down here. They'll just run through here kind of willy-nilly. They won't really pay attention to you up here. And overall, it's a really, really good spot, honestly. I use it pretty much all the time. And then again, running up here from that spawn, you can get a line of sight straight to the spawn right there, which is pretty useful. And you can even run behind these statues and be a little bit sneaky and also get into their spawn as well, which is pretty dang awesome. And now we'll go ahead and head over here to the main building and talk about the main building. So there is a destructible environment here. These pretty much get destroyed pretty much immediately. There's just so much action that goes down on this map, especially because I think tactical mode is 8v8 or 12v12, depending on the mode you're playing. Or no, 8v8 for sure. Then tactical is 12v12, and then assault is 24v24 domination, which is really crazy. But I think they did that on purpose to make it just a really, really fast-paced, crazy, fun mode. I think that's what they did. So anyways, talking about this area, this is a destructible environment as well. This was not in the original World at War version. I know that for a fact. This was, I believe, open in the World at War version, or this was just a wall. I can't remember for sure. Again, I probably will go back and maybe make a comment about some specific things that are new. I'll probably go back and walk through Castle and World at War after I record this video, and then, you know, once this video goes live, I'll put in a comment that talks about exactly what's new and what's changed here. So again, I believe that this was either just a solid wall or this was already just standardly open. And again, let me just go down here really quick and open these doors here to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, because again, most of the time these doors are destroyed. But if I come up here, again, you can mantle right there. This gives me a line of sight straight to B, as well as enemies walking through here and enemies right there. This is a pretty good spot to spend a little bit of time, because as I said, a lot of the time enemies do spend a lot of time here. I can also go up these stairs here, and then here we are into one of the main Watchtower buildings, which I know was in the original World at War version. Alright guys, I am back. There should be no change or anything like that. I actually ran upstairs really quick because I actually got a shipment of games and I took advantage of a couple of sales, and I have a whole bunch of games, which is awesome. So anyways, continuing on here with this map guide, obviously we are up into this Watchtower, which is one of the more famous areas within the World at War version. This, I mean, was super, super common back in World at War. Was always where people spent time, and that is the same case here with this game as well. Again, pretty much the same as World at War, but obviously a lot of you guys probably haven't played World at War, being that I barely played World at War, and I've been playing Call of Duty since 2012. So, anyways, this gives you a line of sight to over into this area here, which is pretty self-explanatory here. Again, I don't think, I could be wrong, because, I mean, you guys know Call of Duty Vanguard. I don't think anybody can spawn here when you're up here aiming at them, but again, welcome to Vanguard. That does happen from time to time. This also gives you line of sight to enemies coming from that little pathway there, as well as over here, which is pretty useful. Again, same thing here. This seems like a really, really good spot, but it's actually not a good spot. And I think they actually put this tree here for a reason. And I think that reason is that back in World at War, this was a very, very, very overpowered spot. Because if I'm spawning over towards A, where I was earlier in the video, I'm basically at the mercy of this person up here pretty much all the time, because they can easily see me without this tree here. So I think this tree was added on purpose. So now really all that this tree does for you is it gives you line of sight to enemies that are right there, as well as enemies that are coming up through here. Other than that, pretty much useless. But again, you can still use this area, and it's still effective to use this area, just more so over here versus right here. Now coming over through here, again, we have those awesome opening doors, and we have a whole bunch of destructible environments right here, which I believe, obviously these destructible environments weren't in the original World at War version, but I do believe that there was a wall that connected there to there, but this was open, I think. Again, leave that comment. I'll leave that comment down below pretty soon. But again, this is B, and this is actually a really, really good spot. Number one, it gives me the ability to defend B, as well as allows me to take out enemies that are coming through here. But again, can't really see them too well until they're literally right there. But once that happens, I can definitely take them out, and it's a pretty good spot here. I don't know if that's a destructible environment there, which it actually is. But again, I guess if I destroy this, let me actually just see real quick. and I killed myself. Why does that always happen? Every one of these map guide videos, I think I've killed myself with my gammon bomb every single time. Welcome to hardcore modes. But anyways, coming up here, I just wanted to see how useful this area would be. I guess it is pretty useful. Let me just destroy that one over there. Please don't die. Yeah, so I guess destroying that was pretty useful. But again, the same thing sort of sticks. You're only going to be able to use these line of sights to your advantage once an enemy gets to about right there. However, with this one being destroyed, I can actually get a line of sight to enemies coming through here, which is pretty dang awesome as well. And being down here, again, line of sight to over there, line of sight to enemies there, and the a line of sight to enemies coming through there as well. And then again, coming through here, these doors open, and I actually really like to spend a lot of time back here as well. It kind of gives me a very, very easy line of sight to enemies coming through here. Again, more destructible environments right here, but these get destroyed pretty quickly. But again, I think this just makes it the normal world at war map by destroying these this little window right here. So again, same thing here, line of sight to enemies over there as well. So now we'll go ahead and head back here. Again, be careful, got to keep your sights up right here, because this is now we're getting sort of into the other spawn point, other main spawn point. And there's rubble here, or not rubble here, but boxes and other things here that I'm not sure were on the original. I don't think they were. But anyways, coming through here gives you line of sight straight to C. This is where the C objective is, and that's why I said you have to keep your sights up coming through here, because again, this is the C objective right there. So enemies will be over here all of the time, and you got to keep that in mind as well. So again, pretty self-explanatory line of sight here. Be careful of enemies on that head glitch there, up here on that little rock wall, and then enemies right there as well. So that's where sometimes enemies like to sit. If I come up here, I really like this little spot here. It's kind of a little hidey hole that I can mount my weapon on and take out enemies that are spawning from over there, which is pretty useful. And then right here, we have more destructible environments right here, as well as right here and right here. And these basically just give you opposite access to the objective from the other side, as well as enemies that might be sitting up there, enemies that are over there, and then enemies that are coming from the bottom upwards to about right here. This one gives you a pretty good line of sight to enemies that are walking along this path here, enemies that are spawning over at C, and enemies that are down there as well. But again, this is pretty hard to use because again, there's so many trees here that kind of block your vision. And now we can head over here towards the C objective. Now, if I destroy this is basically the opposite long shot spot to enemies that are right there, because I showed you guys that earlier in the video. And this is basically the opposite point to that. So if there's an enemy camping up there, you can go ahead and take them out pretty easily from right here. And enemies down there can take them out from right here. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all that this line of sight will able to be, or that's all that this line of sight will be able to do for you. Other than that, pretty much is a non-factor area. Now up here, basically just gives you a flanking route over towards right here. But again, right here in this area is just where you can spawn from, and gives you another route to run to that can make you, that lets you take out enemies there, as well as over there. Now coming over through here, I think, yeah, we have some destructible environments, or is that, yeah, it is a destructible environment right here, which not really sure what the use is of this except for using this as that head glitch to take out enemies from there. That's probably an even better spot. You can also climb up on here as well. Again, feel free to do that. Gives you line of sight to enemies there, enemies in that little corner right there, and then obviously enemies that are up there all the way down to about there, which is pretty effective. Also, there is a way to climb up on that building over there that I will try and show you guys in a second. I'm going to actually have to do a little bit of a cut so I can show you guys how to do it, but there I will go and do that here in a second. Now we're coming over to one of the more non-popular areas of the map. Basically, this area here, this pathway, while it's pretty useful right at the beginning of the game because enemies spawning from A will run right through here, or vice versa, which I'll show you guys in a second. You can take out enemies that are running down here, but for the most part, this is really a low density area, and that actually is a good thing, because one of the reasons that it's so good is that by this area being sort of low density, low action, is that I can actually flank. I can connect the objectives together basically to get over into that main big building where most of the action happens. So I'll go ahead and go into some of that here in a second. So first of all, you know, again, this is coming from a domination kill confirmed player. TDM might be different over here, but for the most part, domination and kill confirmed revolves around the kind of giant palace building that's right there. But there's a lot of cool little areas here. I mean, it's just kind of, obviously, when you're playing a multiplayer game, it's not really peaceful to walk through here. But if you're just playing this map, like I am right now with this map guide, it's actually really peaceful to kind of run through here. Anyways, we're not about peace here, we're about Call of Duty. So again, I can run through here. There's a whole lot of different routes and stuff like that. I can come down here and head up the stairs towards this palace area, but again, I have to keep my sights up towards enemies there, as well as right there, and then right there. Again, there is a destructible environment there as well, but I have to keep in mind about. And then again, I can run all the way down these stairs, all the way to enemies there. Just a couple of things. Be careful running through the middle here. Obviously, this middle is actually a more safe place to run through than other middles of the map, like Numa Numa. Obviously, we know the death trap of Numa Numa's middle, but what's more safe about this middle area is that the likelihood of you getting killed running through the middle of this map from up there anyway is very low. Again, the only risk to running through the middle here is from enemies that are up there. Other than that, it's going to be pretty safe, and you're really not going to have any problems running through here. Again, one of my favorite routes to go to on this area is I like to spawn up there by C and then run through the middle here and go all the way down these stairs underneath the bridge up to this point, and then I like to aim and then take out enemies that are spawning over at A. It's really, really useful because, again, a lot of times enemies will not know you're here. But then let's go ahead and talk about this little area over here, which I mentioned earlier in the video, which I think is really, really good. So again, I did show you from the C perspective. I can get my sights up and take out enemies coming from A, but I can also, from the other side, come here and take out enemies that are coming from C. I've actually gotten a triple kill here before, like right at the beginning of the game. I ran right through here, kept my sights up and got a triple kill, which was awesome. So again, as I mentioned, this is basically just a path to get some flanks. So if I run through this way from the A objective, I can get a flank towards C, and if I run through this way, I can get a flanking route towards enemies over at A, which is very, very awesome. Again, more destructible environments here. Sometimes enemies will sit right here and wait for you to come through, but again, doesn't happen too often. Very, very rarely do I ever get in gunfights here. Once this is destroyed, this basically gives me a line of sight over towards people over by the whole A objective, which I have seen people camp here quite often. And then, of course, coming back around here, which is actually probably a better idea, gives you to over here at this head glitch, which, again, same sort of thing, gets you to this entire building. Pretty much every single area you can see except for maybe that one, but even then, it's going to be a sneaky little kill to get an enemy that you can see right there. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a few more things. Again, I can destroy this if I so wish. Just basically gives me a really, really sneaky line of sight to enemies up there. This is actually probably a really, really good counter to enemies that are camping up there. So if there's a whole bunch of enemies just sitting up there the entire game, come to right here and just take them out pretty easily, honestly. And then I guess all of these break. Again, no one really ever destroys these, but these do have their own uses. Again, if I destroy this all the way, I really wish that these destructible environments were a little bit easier to destroy. But it basically just gives me a kind of a little pokey hole line of sight to enemies that are coming through there. And then, of course, I can run up this bridge and then get into the main area of the map. But again, this is a little bit risky depending on what the spawns are doing. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this map guide video here talking about Castle, which, again, as I said, is one of my favorite maps. I really, really do like it. And obviously, a shorter map guide video means that this map is actually a little bit less complicated than the other ones. And I'm actually pretty excited for Season 1 because I guess they're remastering another World at War map. And I'm very, very excited to see what map that is. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was able to help you out. If you want to check out any of my other... Oh, actually, before I go, destructible environment here. Let's run through there. And let me see how you can get up here to this building. I know that you can. I'm just not sure how to do it because I've personally never done it myself because I think it's kind of a cheap spot. But I've seen people up there all the time. I think you just climb up on here and then... No, you can't jump up there. Can you... No, you can't do that either. I swear people got up here from the back, so I'm not sure how to do that. But anyways, I mean, maybe you're not supposed to climb up on that roof. I'm not gonna say that you can't, but I'm pretty sure that you weren't supposed to. So I think they patched that out. But anyway, guys, I ran out of time, it looks like, here in this gameplay. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, it was able to help you. If it did, make sure to leave a like rating so that I know that this was a good video. If it didn't help you, please leave some constructive criticism down below in the description. Maybe even add some insight yourself to whatever I missed. I mean, I definitely always like getting constructive criticism over just blatant I didn't like the video stuff. So if this video did help you out or didn't help you out, definitely show your support down below and let me know how it helped. But anyways, if you want to check out any of my other previous map guide videos, they've all been linked down below in the playlist in the description. All of my previous episodes will both be at the end of the video as well for you guys to check out. And I'll see you guys all on another Call of Duty Vanguard video very, very soon.